Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another very exciting episode of our brand new podcast, Open Mic Wrasslin, where fans' voices are heard and we get to know all about the fans and why are they so passionate about wrestling. Today's guest is somebody very special because, usually whenever we have guests on the show, they've been watching wrestling for let's say, a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, but this time we have a fan who's a very passionate fan of wrestling, and he's been watching since the Roman Reigns era, since the Shield era, since 2016. So without further ado, guys, let me introduce you to our guest today. His name is Willym McDonald. Willym, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Now, you told me that you've been watching wrestling since 2016. Now, most of the fans that I talk to, they tell me, or even the former fans, they tell me that, hey, AJ, I used to watch wrestling 10, 20 years ago, and it used to be a lot of fun. I stopped watching, around 2010. I stopped watching 2015. You got into this thing in 2016. That's when a lot of fans actually started leaving. So, what compelled you to this wrestling entertainment business? What got you in?
This was back around when the "His name is John Cena" meme started popping around, and John Cena, was kind of what got me in, because that was when he came back when he feuded with AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a good storyline, and that was what compelled me to watch more than one night, because I was originally just going to watch the John Cena return segment.
Okay.
And so when AJ Styles turned heel, I was like, ooh, I want to see what the payoff to this is. And that was also when the Shield Triple Threat happened, when the brand split happened. So back in 2016, sorry about that.
Oh my god, wait, okay, alright, I thought that was The Undertaker for a second, but okay, that's fine.
I'll get to a different recording place when I'm talking right here. But, when all that stuff happened, great storylines, the Shield Triple Threat, Ambrose becoming Money in the Bank, all that, I didn't start just liking John Cena anymore. I started liking Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles. I even started liking Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So there were a lot of guys that I started liking ever since I started watching. That was what made me stay, really.
Wow, it's very interesting. You basically tried out WWE because of a meme, yeah? Because it was a cool meme we were talking about. It was catchy. You got in because of a meme. You got hooked into the WWE thing because of its entertainment aspect, but you ultimately fell in love with its wrestling because you met the names that you've mentioned. You mentioned AJ Styles, you mentioned Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. It shows that you got in because of the entertainment side, but you fell in love with the wrestling. That's very interesting, and that makes me wonder. Did you switch gears to AEW ever since the things that they've been doing lately?
Yeah, actually, I got in because of names like Chris Jericho, names like Matt Hardy. During their time in WWE, I loved them, of course, with the list of Jericho, Woken Matt, and after seeing what they were capable of, I thought that was great, and also like WWE. With the names like MJF, Jungle Boy, names like, Luchasaurus, great guys, Santana and Ortiz as well. Yeah, it's pretty much the same way, just minus the meme part.
Right. I agree. Wow. So you're not that guy who's like, no, I'm gonna love WWE forever. AEW's trash. I'm not gonna give them an opportunity. You're not one of them.
No, I'm just sort of neutral, I'm just like, hey, it's wrestling. You go for the wrestling. I kind of disagree with the way WWE has been recently, but if it's still entertaining, then I'm neutral.
I like that. That's something that, I can really respect, because there are a lot of people out there who are not nearly as neutral as you are, and they can really jump on that hate wagon. They really can. So I respect your opinion a lot. Since you mentioned what WWE has been doing recently, Vince McMahon recently, actually not too long ago, he made this comment in an investors meet. He said that he does not see AEW as competition. Now, within a month, they've got names such as CM Punk, they've got Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, they got big names, Ruby Soho. Do you feel like AEW is competition now?
I think that it's the best competition that WWE has gotten since, WCW, ECW, the invasion angle. I think if any promotion like Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, if any one of those promotions are competition, AEW is it. WWE might not view that, Vince McMahon might not view that, but me and I bet a bunch of other people are like, yeah, AEW is indeed competition.
You think that it turned into competition after the debut of CM Punk, or was it always that way?
It's always been that way, ever since the Double or Nothing pay-per-view back in 2019. I think they've been good competition. The matches have been great. They've done more decent storylines. Of course, the stuff with the Elite, the Blood and Guts, the Pinnacle, all of that. Yeah, I think they have great storylines, and the roster is probably one of the hottest wrestling roster it's been in quite some time, of John Moxley, Brody Lee, the Pinnacle, the Inner Circle, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole. Now, yeah.
R.I.P. Brody Lee. Speaking of Brody Lee, what do you think of Bray Wyatt? Is he also headed to AEW?
I believe so, and I think that's the best place for him. You saw what Matt Hardy's been able to do with his creative control. The stuff Chris Jericho's been able to do. So if Bray Wyatt, with his creative genius, if he could do anything, I think AEW is the best thing for him. Maybe he could lead the Dark Order. Maybe he could go for the World Championship versus Kenny Omega. Maybe. Yeah, I think he could be great in AEW. I think that could be his next destination.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. And since you mentioned Matt Hardy, we saw last night that Jeff Hardy is now pursuing the 24/7 title. That's the next thing in line for him. What do you feel about it? Not a lot of people are happy. They wanted Jeff Hardy in the world title scene. They wanted bigger things for him, and he's going after a title that is basically a joke. Are you disappointed? Or you're like, what are your thoughts?
It's funny you mentioned the 24/7 title. That's one of the main things that, main problems I've really had with WWE is that when Mick Foley introduced it, I thought there would be a lot of great opportunities for it. You saw what R-Truth has done with it. But ever since then, really nothing. I mean, I guess Reginald is the next good thing. But other than that, it's not been focused on. It's not been featured. And for someone like Jeff Hardy, someone who was an underdog, won the WWE Championship, very recently won the Intercontinental, returned at WrestleMania with a big pop along with his brother Matt. I don't agree with the angle that Jeff Hardy's been going. Someone like him deserves better, even if it's back in the mid-card challenging Damian Priest. I mean, I'd be fine with that. I just think that Jeff Hardy challenging for the 24/7 title is terrible. And I think if his contract does expire and he doesn't re-sign, go back to AEW and reunite with Matt.
Well, I hope that if he goes to AEW, he takes no more words with him, because that's great music for him.
That's the best thing that's happened to him.
Oh yeah, that's the best thing that's happened to him lately. The WWE, that's very true. Him getting back, it's funny because he got back with that music, and then he got COVID, and he was off TV again. It's been a terrible ride for him. I mean, these past few years has been terrible. Well, speaking of music, I know that you're making music. You're doing a lot of stuff on Twitch with Star Wars. Would you like to tell us something about that?
Yeah, I've been doing music for the better part of, I want to say 2 years now.
Okay.
And, music has always been the kind of thing that you listen to and it's good therapy. Actually, I've listened to WWE music quite a lot. In fact, most themes I really like, Randy Orton's Voices theme, the new Head of the Table theme with Roman Reigns, um, you know, and I just think music is a good way, like if you're having a bad day, you can listen to it. It clears your mind, especially with the COVID pandemic.
Hmm.
And, Twitch, I've been playing Star Wars for quite a long time. Lego Star Wars, The Complete Saga, The Force Unleashed, all that. And I think, like, gaming commentary um, is is great to keep you busy during the pandemic. You're not allowed to go anywhere. You're not allowed to do anything. School's opening up soon, but it's like in the summer, it's great. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
My Twitch right there is Mr. Willym. You can go follow that if you
And
want
go
it.
to YouTube as well. Don't forget about the YouTube. It's also with IOIM, so gotta go there. Now, since you have a very good taste in music, you definitely know a lot about it. Fans always compare Jim Johnston. They compare CFO downstate. When you talk about WWE music,
Yeah.
which one your favorite? Composer when it comes to WWE and their music?
Actually, it's sort of all of them. But
Okay.
if I were to really choose, I mean, Downstate has some amazing ones. The Zack Ryder one,
Oh yeah.
Radio. I'm here to show the world. Dolph Ziggler. Even Cody Rhodes with Kingdom that they've done. But if I were to choose another one, it'd be Jim Johnson. Of course, you have all
Yeah.
the memorable ones with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Jim
amazing.
Johnson. Definitely, I agree. I feel like CFO is always receives a lot of hate. I do understand why, because Jim was, such a legendary guy, and the CFO basically, was the successor. And I understand that people have this kind of uh, hate for them, or what I don't know what to say. But I feel like CFO was not bad either. They did a good job.
No, I think they were all right. CFO with the
Yeah.
recent
Oh,
themes, of course. You got Burn It Down. You've
oh
had
yeah.
you've had Retaliation with Dean Ambrose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. One of my favorites was the AJ Styles theme. Phenomenal. They
Mhm.
did that.
Yeah, the Aegis Stars team. I remember people made a lot of fun of it because of the lyrics, because it was basically those two verses over and over again. But it was fun. It
Yeah.
was catchy. I think AJ loves it himself. It was a good theme. It suited him definitely. Yeah, definitely. I do agree. So wow, it's great talking to somebody who's so knowledgeable, not just about the wrestling part, but also the entertainment part, knows everything about the company. So I really can appreciate that about you, William, really well. So, what do you feel is next for WWE and NXT? We know that tonight's episode of NXT is the last of Triple H's, his idea, his vision. From next week, it's going to be Vince McMahon and Bruce's vision. Are you excited or are you nervous?
Um, Looking at that logo and knowing the control, I mean, and especially with the "we don't like indies around here,"
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of nervous. And the main thing that I am nervous about is the releasing more indie NXT talent. You've had people like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, um, you know, maybe even Isaiah Swerve Scott. I mean, I kind of fear NXT's future because of that. But oh yeah, even Timothy Thatcher as well. Yeah, I mean, and the logo as well. I mean, maybe knowing the way it could be, it could go back to the game show days. That's what I fear, honestly, is the
Yeah,
tryouts. Yeah,
Vince McMahon really confuses me sometimes. I mean, Eva Marie and her partner Doudrop, yeah? I mean, that's the whole thing is his idea as well. I don't get it. I don't get the whole combination itself because it's so weird. It kind of reminds me of what he wanted to do with Otis and Mandy. I don't know. It sort of gives me that vibes where I don't know. It's just weird. I cannot. I cannot get behind Eva Marie, and because of Eva Marie, I cannot get behind Poor Dewdrop either. Because the name's terrible, the attire feels terrible, the whole team is just terrible. I feel bad for Dewdrop. Yeah, and speaking of NXT and how Vince wants to get rid of those indie-looking people, I was speaking to an independent promoter herself, and Brittany Nicole, and a few independent wrestlers. Just spoke to Ryan Rembrandt yesterday, and they were also disappointed. They all sounded really disappointed in the WWE for making such a decision. It's hard because there are a lot of wrestlers out there who are actively pursuing indie wrestling just for the hopes of getting into the WWE one day. And it makes me sad. But what makes me happy and what makes them hopeful is NWA, is ROH, is AEW. They're stepping up their game and opening new doors. And I'm afraid for WWE's future if they continue to go down this very same old dusty road. I don't know what's next for them. Maybe Disney's gonna own them one day. It can happen. It can happen. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you see with the indie guys and what they've been able to do with AEW. You saw with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Pac, recently Adam Cole. I mean, they've been in the indies. They've built their characters up. You could say the same for CM Punk as well. They've been in the indies. They've been in WWE, AEW. That was their dream. And you know how WWE management is. Neville getting squashed by Enzo Amore. CM Punk's poor treatment. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be to the point where the dream is no longer going to be WWE. It's going to be all about AEW and maybe even Ring of Honor. They're going to rise up from the ashes, and they're going to be the next big promotion. WWE is probably going to be the next ECW if they keep going the way they're going.
It's sad, right? It's really sad. I mean, I know that you are a big Star Wars fan. You do a lot of Star Wars content on Twitch. Yeah. Now, Star Wars is acquired by Disney. And there is a rumor going around. I don't really buy it. I don't think that's happening. But there is a rumor going around that Disney's interested in WWE. As a Star Wars fan yourself, would you be happy if Disney ever acquires the wrestling company WWE?
It's kind of the same thing. I mean, Star Wars was just fine before Disney came. It had all the old movies, a great ending to an amazing saga, and then Disney came with all the political movements and all of this. Kid friendly. It's not as dark anymore. I mean, you think that WWE is PG now? If it goes to Disney, I mean, it's going to be to the point where if they punch each other, you know how the common argument is, oh, they're not punching each other. If it's by Disney, they'll be so far away. It'll be like this. Barely even connects. It doesn't even look like it. So, you know how kid-friendly Disney is. You won't even have the bitch moments in there anymore.
No missionary, no bitches, nothing at all, yeah?
No missionary either.
Wow, I do not want to imagine that. I do not want to imagine. Wow. I didn't think that WWE could get any more PG, but now when I'm thinking of Disney owning WWE, I can imagine all the 3D logos. I can imagine, I don't know. I'm already tired of all the LED screens around the thing, and when Disney owns it,
all the CGI.
There's gonna be confetti instead of pyros. I can imagine. There's gonna be snow instead of smoke. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar's gonna do his little thing at Extreme Rules, just confetti all over the place.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Can you imagine a Brock Lesnar Suplex City attraction in the Disney World? That would be something I would love to go to. Really. We have a lot of imagination. I can tell you that.
Suplex City, the one place nobody wants to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Wow. Yeah, and I never want to imagine that again. No. Wow. Wow, really don't want to imagine that.
Disney would be hell.
Oh yeah. So, We've had a great conversation. You're talking about WWE, AEW, what could be next for NXT. So let's do a little prediction, all right? Because I love talking to you so much. I would absolutely love for us to chat again and have you back in the show. But let's do a little prediction. The next time we talk, with NXT getting its revamp next week, with AEW stepping up its game as well, it's basically a revamp for AEW too, if you look at it, because now they have all this fresh energy and all this fresh, star power. It's a revamp for them as well. So the next time we chat, is NXT still gonna be beating AEW in the ratings every single week, or is it gonna be the other way around?
I think I've seen a post. Chris Jericho said that he's thinking AEW could beat Raw in the next 6 months. He was talking about Raw. You want to talk about NXT, especially with this revamp, it could be 2 months. That AEW could beat NXT in the ratings, especially like you said with all the star power, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole. All of those amazing names. I mean, and of course the great indie talent that weren't even in WWE before, the Elite, all of that. Yeah, I mean, it's a very accurate prediction to say that AEW is going to beat NXT in the ratings.
That is a bold prediction. You also put out a timeline out there that's 2 months. So let's do this. 2 months later, let's catch up again and let's see who was the winner. Right? Let's do that. If you win, you get a free Wrasslinews merch. Let's do that as well. Okay. Good. Good. All right. It was so good talking to you, Willym. You have a very great energy, great vibe around you. It almost reminds me of the new AEW product. You're great. Great talking to you. Lovely. Guys, if you're watching this right now, make sure to follow Willym. I'm going to put the graphics again. Willym is Willym Vyam McDonald is his name. And you have to follow him on Twitch, where he posts incredible Star Wars content. That's Twitch is Mr. Will YM. You gotta follow him on YouTube as well. It's the same, Will YM. And Instagram is the official Will YM. So definitely give him a follow. Stay up to date with his work, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna love it. Thank you so much, Mr. Will YM, for being here. And I can't wait for the next 2 months, when we catch up again. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.